Folks, the stock market crash of 2024 will be nothing like you have ever seen before.
Our next guest is warning that he's seeing some recession indicators flashing red.
Our guest says while analysts are awaiting a soft landing for the U.S. economy, he thinks a recession could unexpectedly hit.
The economy is in shambles, the consumers are in shambles, and we are about to experience an apocalypse in the stock market in 2024. Be afraid, be very, very afraid. At least that is the message that you're getting from mainstream media and so-called experts on social media explaining to us that the stock market is about to collapse and we should run for the hills like headless chickens. Now, as in every video I have ever posted on this channel, and this might be the most important video I have ever posted here, the bottom line always comes first. So don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing, just pay attention. Look, the bottom line is quite simple. Now, let me explain how this works, folks. A lot of so-called experts that have no business being on mainstream media, not even on social media. In fact, I wouldn't put them in charge of the hose in my garden. These people looked at some charts and they have made videos, arguments, articles, and TV appearances telling you that the stock market is about to collapse and you should be afraid. And the reason they're making these claims isn't to help you, it's to help numero uno themselves. I'll explain. Look. They're in the business of making money from your attention. You click, they get paid. It's an advertising business. So, every time they make a video that makes you anxious and nervous and emotional, and you click, they get paid. But do you get any value out of these videos? Do they help at all? Well, let me ask you this question. If indeed a crash is coming, right? Should you sell? I mean, if an expert A says that a crash is coming, maybe we should sell, right? But what happened if you didn't time it correctly and the market goes up another 20% from here? And now you're out of the market. The market has gone up 20%. What do? Do you cry yourself to sleep? Do you jump back in? But wait, they just told me a week ago that a crash is coming. Maybe I should wait a little bit longer. Then the market goes up another 10%. What do you do then? So you just put yourself in this spin cycle of impossible choices. Lots of stress, lots of anxiety for no reason at all, rather than to serve the self-interest of somebody who wanted you to click on their fear-mongering article. Now look, I use the same tactics. I'm not gonna lie. My thumbnails and titles often scream the same message. But here's a huge difference. My message is designed to bring you in so I can destroy this garbage and I can re-educate people to do what's right for them. Because I don't get money from this. I mean, I get some money from ads, from YouTube and Google, but that's okay. I have 5,300 Patreons that pay me substantial amounts of money every single month so I can do this and say things that are not popular because my ad revenue is irrelevant to me. I was quite wealthy before I started YouTube. I'm even wealthier right now, and my Patreon pays my bills, not the ads from YouTube, which is really peanuts. So let's get one thing straight. I use clickbait, I use the same tactics, but I do that to fight these guys. And that's where we are right now. Let's kind of do a recap of the last few episodes, right? So the rate has dropped by 0.5 percentage point by the Fed for the first time in 4 years. We're going to 3% interest. It's going to take us about 12 months to get there. At the end of this year, we're about to have a 4.5% interest. At the end of next year, 3.5% interest. And in 2026, probably early 2026, we're going to be at 3%. What will happen to stocks when the Fed goes into this cycle of cutting rates? Well, there's arguments about the fact that the stocks might drop because they have dropped before in the past when the Fed cut rates. And those arguments are well-based. It did happen. There's arguments that the market will go up because in the past there have been instances when the Fed actually cut rates and the stocks went up. Those arguments are well-based. Both are quite possible. But Tom, how is it possible that these absolutely opposite arguments both are correct? Well, because the answer lies in the economy. If the economy is good, rate cuts are good. If the economy is struggling and it's in a bad shape, rate cuts usually don't help because the economy has gone too far. So the question is, how bad is the economy? Obviously, we know the economy isn't great. If the economy was great, nobody would be cutting rates. So if we know that the economy has started to struggle, unemployment went up, things are tough. So the only question is about what happens next is how bad is the economy? Are we struggling but holding up? If the answer is yes, these rate cuts will definitely boost the economy. That happened in the past 40 years 4 times. In the 4 times that the Fed cut rates in a non-recessionary environment in the past 40 years, 1998, 21%, 1995, 19%, 1989, 13%, 1984, 22%. These are the returns we had on the S&P 500 when the economy was good and we got the rate cut cycle. Do we know which one of these scenarios is correct? No, because we don't know in real time what's the real underlying situation of the economy. I'm not sitting here telling you a market crash cannot happen tomorrow or next week or in a month. It may or it may not. I'm not saying one way or the other. But I want you to pay attention. Despite the crashes and the collapses and the wars of the past 15 years, the stock market has gone up 700% over the past 15 years. In that 15 years, we had a lot of reasons to sell. I have actually some quotes here to show you. In 2010, we had the flash crash. 2011, Japan just had its biggest earthquake. 2011, the US debt got downgraded. 2011 as well, gold reaches the all-time high. Then in 2011 again, a 20% stock drop. EU sovereign bond crisis, 2011. 2013, taper tantrum. US government shutdown, 2013. Ebola outbreak, what the hell, 2014. Dow crashes 1,000 points, first time ever, 2015. Earnings recession, Brexit, 2016. Another government shutdown. US bear market, 2019. COVID happens, total economy shutdown, stock market crash. We had the 2020 election drama with Donald Trump. Chinese Evergrande collapse that was supposed to take down the world. Inflation for the past 4 years. All of this happened, folks, since 2010 until now, the past 15 years. And nevertheless, we have done 700% in that time frame if you just stayed in the market. And in that 15-year time frame, I'm going to show you a few samples of how mainstream media worked against you, trying to get you to do stupid things. Here's a few samples, right? 2009, New York Times, Dow will crash by year end. 2011, Dow to 3,000, that's CNBC. 2013, an 87% of a market crash, that was Market Watch. 2015, stocks will crash soon. 2016, Fortune, here comes the biggest stock crash ever. Business Insider in 2017, the worst crash of our lifetime is coming. So as I just showed you, in those 15 years, lots of reasons to sell, lots of media panic, and yet 700% in 15 years. Now look, market dives, people panic. It happened just in August. August 5th, the market dropped 10%. People ran for the hills, they panicked. A lot of people sold out of the market. They thought that this is the beginning of that crash everybody's warning them about. Does anybody remember August 5th now? If you sold out on August 5th and you missed the entire bounce back, you're probably not a very happy camper right now. And you only have one person to blame, which is not you, of course. You haven't done anything wrong. I'm kidding. It's you. But it's you because you put yourself in a bad situation. It's you because you've listened to mainstream media. It's you because you haven't listened to me. It's you because you let your emotions work and actually lead you instead of you leading your emotions. Imagine your dog is walking you. That's literally what happens when people let their emotions do the trading. Now look, mainstream media amplifies anything. When things are good, they amplify euphoria. When things are bad, they amplify panic. This is how they sell ads. Again, they don't have 5,300 patrons and a very frugal lifestyle to allow themselves not to care about ad revenue on YouTube. But most of the people that you're consuming content from, they rely on this as their source of income. CNBC sells ads, newspapers, they sell ads. This is how the business works. And because that is the business, that is the interest. So the interest is to get a click and to get an attention, not necessarily to help you make the best investing decisions for you, which is the point of this video. Now, the unspoken secret of the investing community is that markets go through a lot of crap, but they recover 100% of the time as long as you give them enough time. Might take weeks, months, or even years, But the success rate on markets recovering from bad spots is 100%. And I'll give you an extreme example. Let's say that you invested 25 years ago at the worst possible time, 1998. And let's do a 25-year period, right? You have the dot-com crash in the middle, the 2008 crash in the middle, massive crashes when the market went absolutely tits up, right? So this thing happens. You start investing right on the eve of the dot-com crash and you put in $100 every single month. Well, if all you do is just ignore the market and put in 100 every month, the dot-com happens, you put in 100, the 2008 crash happened, you put 100, you ignore everything. By January 1st of 2022, your return is almost 200%. And that's including two of the biggest crashes the stock market has ever seen, dot-com and 2008 subprime. The stock market is like the defense of the NFL Pittsburgh Steelers from the 70s. It bends, but it never freaking breaks. Love the Steelers from the 70s. And the market is the same. Look, since 1957 to right now, the stock market, and when I say the stock market, I actually mean the S&P 500. The S&P 500 gave you 10% per year, like clockwork. Some years are bad, some years are horrible, some years are average, some years are good, and some years are great. But at the end of the day, it will average out to 10% per year. And that 10% is going to be a whole lot better than 99%, if not 100%, of the so-called investments you will be pitched by your friends and family over the next 20 years. The barbershop record studio by my cousin Dima was not a success, as you would imagine, but most of these things aren't. Now, the reason that 10% that may not sound exciting today is a huge cheat code, and it will create generational wealth, is because of compound interest. Think about it. You just placed your bet on the US economy. The US economy is undefeated. The S&P 500 is literally the US economy. You're making 10% per year. But think about the snowball effect of what I just described if you stay in for 15 years. Every year, the amount that you're investing gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that 10% is applied to a bigger and bigger amount. The snowball rolling down the hill is getting bigger and it's moving faster, and the inertia makes it bigger and faster with every passing second. If you put in $10,000 40 years ago, right now, if you apply 10% per year, which is the average, you would be sitting on $1.1 million. $10,000 to $1.1 million. Cheat code. Now, Warren Buffett said this many times. He said, people want to get rich. Nobody's willing to get rich slow. Because if you want to do it slow, it's almost guaranteed. The longer you stay, the better this thing works. The problem is that a lot of people forget that. And they jump in, jump out, and they totally miss the most important part of this whole system, which is to stay in at all times. Don't jump out no matter what. If you have missed the best 10 days of the past 20 years in the market, your return has been slashed by half. Losing the best 10 days in 20 years will slash your returns by half. Now, if you thought that was the best part, hang on, it gets better. You see, one of the things that rich people don't want poor people to know is that buying stocks on the downturn, on the crash, in the panic, is the best time to get rich. I'll explain. There's a famous saying, buy stocks at all times. Buy when it's good. Buy when there's blood on the street. Buy even if that blood is yours. When everybody panics, even if your portfolio is massively down, that is the best time to buy stocks more and more, not doubling down on euphoria. Now, Buffett has said it multiple times. Others have said it multiple times, and yet people want to buy when the stock is high because of hype, and they just can't bring themselves to buy stocks at a discount when the sentiment turns negative. The alternative to this system is very, very easy to explain. Look, time the market, buy and sell, right? You may get some right. I'm not saying that you're going to fail every freaking time. No, you will get some right. So let's say that you're a great trader, an amazing trader. And let's say that your success percent is 60%. More often than not, you will be right because you're an amazing trader. You have the gut feeling, the hunch. Even though when I have a gut feeling, I go to the toilet, but that's besides the point. You're a great trader and your success percentage is like 60% over the course of the next 20 years. Well, my method, the one I just told you, has literally 100% success rate. How is this even comparable? The only difference is with mine, You got to be patient and you got to allow yourself to get rich slowly. That's the only thing. Even though everybody knows get rich quick schemes don't work, everybody still tries to get rich quick. And look, nobody knows if we're about to get a crash coming up in the next few weeks, few months, maybe a couple of years. Nobody knows, right? Nobody is able to time the market effectively, consistently. There's a lot of fake experts pretending to know what the future holds for the stock market. I'm not one of them. I'm telling you, I don't know. Timing the market is a bad idea. Because you see, even though the stock market goes through a lot of crap, as I just showed you, at the end of the day, if you stay long term, the markets are undefeated. But somehow, despite this fact, despite the market always going up long term, 90% of retail investors lose money in the stock market and only 10% are successful. Because you see, the 10% that succeeds has one thing in common that the others don't, which is patience, guts, and conviction. These traits allow them to withstand in the face of panic. Now, the fact that you know this doesn't really solve the problem yet. Because at this point, you can't just say, well, I'm just going to stand in the face of panic. No, for that, you need knowledge, you need skills, you need to be able to research companies, to have good habits, and to have a support group that allows you not to put yourself in a bad situation. And what I'm here to do is to teach you exactly these things, to provide you the knowledge, the skills, and the research so you can build conviction, you can have the guts and the patience to withstand the panic when it comes, because trust me, it will come. It will come, and unless you're ready, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, professionally, this is going to hit you like a brick wall. On Patreon, I offer an academy. In the academy, I teach people knowledge, skills, research, good habits, and I give them a support group on a Discord. This academy usually costs $99 per month, but because I'm in a good mood, because Michigan just beat USC in one of the classic games of all time, because Palantir is at $37, and a lot of haters are being humbled right now. Because of that, for the next 24 hours, the academy is going to be $35 instead of $99. And in 24 hours on the clock, once this video posts, it's going to go back to $99. If you want to get better at this game, if you trust me and you want to take this journey with me in my community, sign up today. I'll see you next one. Peace.